So item number 2, answers to the questions. Number 1 is name 4 means of communication mentioned in the test. Answer: radio, television, newspaper, and magazines are 4 means of communication mentioned in the test. Radio, television, newspapers, and magazines are means of communication mentioned are 4 means of communication mentioned in the text. Number 2, question: how do people send messages today? Answer: nowadays, people send messages by writing letters, sending text messages, and by making telephone calls. Nowadays, people send messages by letters, sending text messages, and by making telephone calls. Number 3, question: what are the advantages of radio and television? Answer: with radio and television, it is easy to send messages to large groups of people living in very distant places at the same time. So number 3. Number 4. Question: why are newspapers important ways of sending information? Answer: newspapers are important ways of sending information because they report events which happen all over the world and people can read about them. Number 4. Newspapers. All over the world and people can read about them. Good. So this is the correction of our last step, which is entitled Item 2 in our comprehension questions. But before closing our correction session, let's read it. Number 1. Radio, television, newspapers, and magazines are 4 means of communication mentioned in the test. Number 2. Nowadays, people send messages by writing letters, sending text messages, and by making telephone calls. Number 3. With radio and television, it is easy to send messages to large groups of people living in very distant places at the same time. Number 4. Newspapers are important ways of sending information because they report events which happen all over the world and people can read about them. Great. So this is the end of our correction on the test entitled News Ways of Sending Messages. Thank you for attending our class, and I will see you next time for another test study. Goodbye.